Hey, what's up, guys? Let's have a little bit of fun for all of us, right? And also learn something along the way. So, these are 21 different things that women find attractive about men or highly unattractive. So, then you could just do the opposite. All right, guys, let's begin. The first rule that if you are going to be using these, set of guidelines or principles to quote unquote make yourself more attractive to women as a playboy or to get more girls, and be uncontrolled with your sexual desire, which is very unmasculine, by the way. You guys probably know that. Um, that's gross. Secondly, if you're going to use this list to make yourself more attractive to women, to seek their approval, that's also extremely weak. I'm going to do this to say, hey, this is what you can do to be more masculine and start to attain your role as husband and father. Okay, so you're not doing it to seek approval. Like that's not the goal of it to seek approval from your wife or like you're not manipulating it, right? You want to start to understand this in the core of your being. To do that, also, what helps is reading old books. And I say reading old books because in the old stories, men are men and women are women, and the stories are very similar to our times. And I just finished up reading Gilgamesh, and there's a lot of lessons there. We'll do a video about that, and the Odyssey as well. We'll do a video about that, and the masculinity and interactions between men and women in that situation and how that works. So we'll do a longer form video. All right, let's get into it. The 21 things that women find attractive about men and/or find highly unattractive, disgusting, despicable. They'll turn them off. They'll be like, this guy is gross, or my husband is gross. All right, let's go. Number one, dealing with any type of chaos calmly. So you'll find a lot of times men who are effeminate will get all worked up if there's like a little bit of chaos or some issue going on. Like they'll become very, very worked up themselves. And that is not good. So you want to be the type of guy that if a situation arises, whatever it might be, maybe it's something serious like a car accident, maybe it's just a small issue like I don't know, you get a letter home in the mail that of a problem that needs to be dealt with, like through your bank, your mortgage, or whatever you got going on, guys. I don't know. But you're able to deal with the situation calmly and keep the situation calm, right? Because your wife might get a little bit upset or get all, sometimes it tends to happen. Those things tend to happen. And if you become upset too and you're not managing the chaos, that's pretty weak. So you want to be able to be a man who can deal in any situation of chaos. Like if something's happening in a crowd of people, like you want to remain calm, put your arm around her, put your arm around the family, and like calmly escort everybody out. Or even if it's not your wife and it's just a different situation, there's something very attractive to women about a guy who, when sirens are going off and things are going wrong, that can stand there and execute on a situation in chaos extremely calmly with his head collected and just know what to do. Best way to do that is to start planning it out before it happens. So you start getting an inner understanding of what you would do in a terrible situation and just go and act and get through it, right? In a very calm manner, very attractive to women. Standing up for her, number two, and protecting her. You want to always stand up for your wife or mother, whatever it might be. Any woman basically is to stand up and make sure you're going to be protective. That leads me to number three. In order to be protective and to stand up for your wife or a woman, your family, your daughters, whatever it might be, is you got to be strong. That means, guys, like you got to get to the gym, you got to work out, you got to keep yourself in physical condition. So number three, also being strong. I'm not talking about bodybuilding, because bodybuilding, when a guy is doing that, it becomes very, very unattractive to women. Women don't want a guy who's bodybuilding for his own, manipulation of his body. For it just becomes, women find that very, very unattractive because it centers on you. Like it's a bit of self worship. All right, let's move on to number four, having principles. This means your guide to life, right? So religion is good when it comes to having principles. Like there's a core value of beliefs that you believe in and that you gain virtue through. So being having principles, the guide to life, religion, having borders, boundaries with her and with everyone in your life. Like there are lines that are not going to be crossed within your life, and there are things that you are not going to compromise on. Period. Let's see. Now we're up to number five, not tolerating bad behavior. This means from your wife or from anyone in your realm, like anyone that's kind of in and around your family, not tolerating their bad behavior. So it could be whatever you're having. It's a whatever. It's a date night. This is my example, right? It's a date night situation, and you got another family's kids being dropped off at your house. They can go on a date, or you're going on a date. Anyway, the kids come over and they're not behaving properly. Like you parent them properly, but you don't allow bad behavior by anyone. Like that includes anyone in your realm, your wife, your kids, your brother, your sister, like not tolerating any bad behavior. And that kind of ties back into, number four, which is having those principles, having those guiding principles. That means you're not going to be tolerating bad behavior. Number six, and this is like a really big one, guys, and stick around to the end because we'll talk about another big one in number 20 that deals with sex and intimacy. All right, number six, not negotiating for intimacy and sex. This is a big one, guys, and your wife will find this actually attractive. If your wife sets a guideline and says, hey, if you do the dishes, I'll provide intimacy. If you do this for me, I'll provide intimacy. Or da-da-da-da. Never negotiate for that stuff. Period. Like, do not do that. Like, don't. First of all, that's gross. Like, think about what that says. It says, like, if you do this task that I want you to do that I know you don't want to do, like, I'll give you my body. Like, come on, man. Like just the principle of it is degrading to her, it's degrading to you, and it's degrading to your relationship, it's degrading to your marriage. Like, do you understand that? All right, check. Number seven is not fighting with her and not arguing. Like, there's a way to do this. It's not called making peace, but you don't want to engage in those conversations that are very, they can get very ramped up and ratcheted up to name calling or anything like that. Like sometimes there'll be arguments within a household or within a marriage, and language will be used, and particularly I found this with women, they'll use language to try to engage you emotionally into an argument. Don't ever do that. Just remain calm. You can always walk out. There's a million things that you can do, but don't fight. That's it. You don't want to argue. You don't want to go down to that base level. In some of those instances, like you don't even want to reply back with logic at that time, because that situation is emotional at that time. It's not a logical situation. So the best thing to do sometimes, say, hey, don't talk to me like that. Cool it, walk out, whatever you have to do. And then you can re-engage later at a different time when the argument is not emotional. Take a cooling off period. Like, you have to be the one that's going to be in charge of that disagreement and not arguing and not being reactive. Because once you get reactive, that's it's uncontrolled, right? You become a very uncontrollable person. A man is much more uncontrollable than a woman, right? Because there's, especially if you're big and strong, like, don't do that. Don't ever do that, guys. All right. Next, and that ties right into it. Number 8, be unfazed by her emotional roller coaster. So in marriage, a lot of times there's family issues. There's her cycle. There's a lot of things going on within a marriage. You can't be riding that roller coaster of her emotions. You just need to be baselined the whole time. Very, very attractive to women for you to stay baselined no matter what the mood is, what the atmosphere is, whatever's going on. Like, you stay focused, you stay calm, you stay baselined, you keep everything together, very disciplined, very obedient, and very ordered. That's where religion also ties back in, because religion gives you discipline, and it gives you obedience, and it gives you submission to God. All right, let's move on to the next thing, which is, that was number 8. Number 9, be able to fix things. Very attractive to women. Little plumbing, woodworking jobs, cars, appliances, whatever it is. The things that go wrong in the house, like maybe it's a door, maybe it's replacing something, maybe it's a dishwasher, maybe it's fixing something, mechanical. Be able to fix things. Very, very attractive, very masculine, and very useful for the house, like saving the family money, like all sorts of things. It's a benefit all around. You can teach your sons, your daughters will know you know how to fix things. It's just a win-win for everyone. Number 10, be focused on yourself. Not in like a weird selfish way, but like, you don't want to be focused like only on your wife. Like, that is not your main focus in your life. Like, you have other duties, your job, family, hobbies that you have. You don't want your whole life to revolve around just a girl or just your wife. I feel like a lot of guys make this mistake, and I certainly did when I was young, where your life would revolve around a girlfriend or something. And you'd make everything you did about seeking her approval, pleasing her, getting something from her. Like, there was a lot of like molding your life around a girl. And a lot of young guys make this mistake. But I want to say, like, don't make that mistake. Don't make it early on. And if you can catch yourself doing it, then you're perfect. So be focused on yourself, not a selfish way, but just be focused on like your job, your family life, your hobbies. Your focus should not be on pleasing her. Now, listen, guys, as much as she thinks you think that you should be pleasing her and she wants this and she thinks that, she really wants you to please her, she actually doesn't. She wants you to stay focused on like important things that you got going on that are going to benefit the family and benefit her in the long run. She doesn't want you focused around her and like building everything around her and catering to her every need. Like, that ends up becoming very, very unattractive. That leads to number 11. Don't be idle. It's enough said about that. Just don't be idle. Always be doing something. Always, always, always. Even if I take a nap, like, and this crazy, guys, I'll take a nap on a timer. Like, I'll time my nap on purpose to not sleep too much. So it's like a Sunday, it's, relaxation day, day of church, day of family. I'll lay back, I'll put a timer on, I'll sleep for 20 minutes, and then I'll get up and start doing stuff. Don't be idle. Idleness, women find very, very unattractive, and I mean, other guys find it very unattractive too. It's gross. It's disgusting. And it leads to bad choices. The more idle you are, the more time you have to fall into temptation and then fall into sin. All right, number 12, don't ever ask for approval. Don't ask for approval from your wife. There's no pat on the back. Don't seek that approval. Don't seek any of those things. Like, if they come, that's great, but don't like seek it. Don't ask for it. Don't do any of those things. Men don't seek approval from their wife. It's the other way around. the other way around, guys. All right. Let's go to number 13. Number 13, this is a big one. It's very, very important for marriage. Give your wife praise, like for all of the great things that she's doing. Like give her praise for like when she's doing whatever it might be, like something great, something awesome, preparing a meal, taking care of the kids, making sure that the schedules are aligned with the children, like everything's taken care of in the house. Um, Give her praise for all the things that she does in and around your house and in your marriage. Women find this very, very attractive. Not like you don't need to praise her as much for her beauty, but what she does and what she brings to the table. Okay? You can praise for beauty, but you can't like make that the only thing because then a woman will cultivate herself and only cultivate the beauty. So you want to do, the great things that she's doing, like around the house or with the kids or planning with the kids or, in your marriage or taking care of household items. Like give praise to those things. All right, let's move on to the next. All right, let's head on to number 14. Now, if you're married, make sure, and this is critically important. If you're married, make sure, and you have children, make sure to reprimand the kids' poor behavior towards her. If the kids act out of line towards you, or definitely towards your wife, do it in front of her and in front of them for their poor behavior. Like, don't talk to your mother like that. Like, give them a quick, like, quick gut check. Doesn't matter how old they are. They could be 2 years old, or they could be whatever, maybe not 2 years old, but they have like a little bit of reason in their head. They're like 5 or 6 or 7, and then so on. But like, give them a gut check. Like, you don't speak to your mother that way. Like, never. What do you think you're doing? Like, you don't act that way. Give them a gut check. Never let your children disrespect your wife, their mother, and keep them in line for that, and keep them in line like publicly. So that means like in that family situation, if that occurs, like reprimand them right there on the spot so they feel the shame of it. And also your wife will find this very attractive because your wife doesn't want you to be the type of man who doesn't protect her from the children, okay? Like that's disgusting and that's weak. So make sure you reprimand your kids if they misspeak to your wife or to you or to anybody else, right? You want to correct them in the moment with harsh language sometimes. Like not like cursing or anything like that, but like quick reprimanding language that gets the points across and lets them know you are dead serious. Never speak to your mother that way. All right, number 15. What do women find really attractive? Plan a date. You do it. Don't ask her. Don't say what's good. Like look on you could see her calendar, you could see what's going on with the children, you could see what's going on with the household, who's got a sports activity. Like you could look at all that stuff. Like you could figure it out. Like you're a smart guy. Plan the date, like the whole thing. Like from the kids getting dropped off to the whole situation. Just plan the entire date. The meal that you're going to go to, whatever. You don't need to ask permission. You don't need to say like, oh, like, hey, would you like to go here? Like, don't do that. Just plan it out. Like, hey, guess what? Next Monday, we're dropping the kids off. We're going out to this restaurant. Done. Done. Plan a vacation too. Plan the vacation. Like so many guys like, oh, my wife planned. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know how we're getting there. Just plan the trip. Plan the trip. Drive the car. Like take care of it. Take the leadership role. Very, very, very attractive. All right. Let's go to number 16. Be firm and leading not to compromise with her for things that are a bad idea or going to be bad for her, for the family, your finances, your kids, etc. Hold firm and stay calm. Okay? So if something is a bad idea and it gets brought to your attention that hey, I want to go do this and it's a bad idea, it's going to cause chaos in the family, it's going to cause financial trouble, it's going to cause problem with the kids, like stay calm and just say, "No. This is a bad idea. We're not doing this." and don't compromise any of it. Like if it's 100% a piss poor idea, don't let that happen under any circumstances. Don't compromise because you're worried about keeping the peace or her wrath, or like she's going to be upset if I say no, or you're afraid of her mood because you told her that this is a bad idea. Don't compromise. If it's a bad ideas, like don't compromise with bad ideas that are going to lead to any chaos or any, like, it's just not good in the family. It's just 100% not good. All right. That kind of ties into number 17, which is be unafraid of her wrath. If she may spew, that she does not get her way. Like don't be like all bent out of shape or like worried about her, like I need to keep the peace. Like so many men like go out of their way to say they're keeping the peace, but what they're really doing is they're, you know, disintegrating their own marriage. That's what they're doing. They're saying I'm keeping the peace, but what it's code word for is I don't care enough about my marriage. I am too scared of my wife's wrath or what she's going to say, or if she's going to be moody with me for a day or a week or hour, what I don't know, whatever it is. It doesn't make a difference. She's going to say harsh words to me like, come on, man, like have a backbone. For real. This is what she wants you to have anyway, is a backbone. She wants you to be able to lead the family, so lead it properly. All right, number 18. This is something women find very, very unattractive, guys, so don't ever do it. I've done it. I know it. Don't ever do it. Number 18, complaining, like gossiping, like complaining about work, like any of those things. Like when you get on like a obsessive thing about complaining about your job or your responsibilities or anything like that, like just don't do it. Oh, but men need an outlet. No, they don't. No, you don't. Shut up. Just do your job. That's it. Take care of your business. Do your job. You actually don't need an outlet, okay, guys? Like, you need a hobby. You need a friend. That's what you need. You don't need an outlet. Your wife is certainly not your outlet. I promise you that. Have a male friend. That's where you can go out and grab beers, or you could do something. Do something productive. Go shoot something, hunt something, have some beers. Like, that's what a friend is for. That's an outlet. The gym's an outlet. Okay? Like, your wife is not an outlet for you to complain. Your wife is not an outlet for you to complain about your job or do any stupid gossiping about other people. It's disgusting. It shows like a weakness in your character. All right, number 19. Number 19, assertiveness. Being assertive in situations. Plain and simple. Just be assertive in situations. And if you're doing all the other steps and you're pretty masculine to begin with, then it'll be naturally assertive. I'm not saying a tyrant, I'm saying assertive. Like assertive, like this is where you stand. That's enough said about that. All right, now let's talk about number 20. Number 20, things that a woman would find very, very unattractive. And then we'll do 20.5 or 20 and a half of what they find attractive. All right, so number 20, this is a big one, guys. This is the one I was saying, stick around to the end. So, very, very unattractive for women is uncontrolled sexual desire. So that means you're watching those videos or something, or she knows you're watching those videos, or she knows you're quote unquote self-abusing or something like that. Uncontrolled sexual desire, disgusting. Not only is it disgusting for like you know it's gross, I know it's gross, your wife knows it's gross. What about your poor kids? They're gonna know it's gross too. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Everyone's gonna know your dirty little secret. So don't have uncontrolled sexual desire because it's weak, it's effeminate, it's disgusting. Women find it very, very unattractive, and it shows your character of not having control over your lust and your vices. Okay. So now let's talk about, that was number 20. So here's 20 and a half. You want to be able to be so in control of your desires, your sexual desires, whatever, that if she's even trying to, we'll say, I know I'm using this from Gilgamesh, right? So Gilgamesh, whatever, the goddess has, she tries to use, anyway, she tries to use her love arts on Gilgamesh to seduce him, and he's denying it, saying, no, I'm not doing that, man. When you end up denying those things, and you could do it even in a playful manner, and you know when she's trying to, like, quote unquote use her love arts on you, like as a husband or as a man, like, you know that. Like, if you're able to not be like, "Ugh," like tongue hanging out of your mouth, and you're able to, like, kind of walk through that and, accept it when you on your terms and how you want to accept it, very, very attractive to women. It also shows that you have control over yourself, which is very, very attractive. Having that self control is not only good for you, but it's good for your marriage. And it's also lets her know that you have control in any situation. So if you're out somewhere on a business trip and somebody did something like that and they were kind of acting that way, like, she just trusts in you that you're not going to tongue hanging out of your mouth like a weirdo and, like, not in control of your base desires. All right. And 21, very, very unattractive thing and disgusting, like actually gross, is crying, being emotional. Also, being angry, like quick to anger like that, very, very unattractive to women because it shows that you can't control yourself. The same thing with the sexual desire stuff. If she can control you by, quote unquote, being sexy and you lose all control, not good. Same thing with anger. Same thing with, crying or emotionalism, expressing any of those things. Now, this video, guys, is meant to make you guys more masculine, more strong men, leaders, husbands, fathers, taking care of your family. That's the whole point of all of this, to cultivate it. There are a lot of books out there. I put out videos about books that I like to personally read about these things, but I just want to give you guys tips since we are a generation that doesn't have a lot of examples that I had to learn the hard way and kind of teach myself. And here's some tips for you. So that's it, guys. Like, subscribe, share, whatever. Out.